This was taken seconds before a Ukrainian passenger jet crashed near Tehran. Security cameras captured the dramatic moment of impact on the ground. 176 people died, including 63 Canadians. That country's Prime Minister says it was downed by an Iranian missile.
We have intelligence from multiple sources, including our allies and our own intelligence. The evidence indicates that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile.
The plane came down just 4 hours after Iran had fired a volley of missiles towards the US bases in Iraq. The country was on high alert for possible US retaliation. Asked if he blamed America for escalating tensions in the area, Prime Minister Trudeau said a full investigation was needed before fingers were pointed.
I think it is too soon to be drawing conclusions or assigning blame or responsibility in whatever proportions.
Iranian officials insist the aircraft, a Ukrainian International Boeing 737-800, had a problem and was headed back to the airport. They say there were other planes in the area. Debris from the plane was scattered over a wide area. The so-called black boxes, a cockpit voice recorder and a flight data recorder have been recovered. The Iranians say they won't be handing them over to Boeing, but will conduct an investigation and keep Ukraine informed. It's been reported the debris has been bulldozed into a pile at the scene, making a forensic analysis almost impossible. But one expert told us the dead might be the best witnesses.
There could be evidence literally within the bodies of the victims that could point to whether or not, for example, an explosion took place inside or outside of the aircraft.
Earlier in the day, US President Donald Trump said he feared the worst.
It was flying in a pretty rough neighborhood, and somebody could have made a mistake. Some people say it was mechanical. I personally don't think that's even a question.
The Ukrainian president laid flowers at a makeshift memorial at the airport where the plane was due to land. He called for Canadian experts to join the investigation. It's understood many of the victims had dual nationalities. Families are now painfully waiting to find out when the bodies will be returned and they can say their final goodbyes.
And more with Alan now in Washington. Now, let's talk about this new video, first of all, because, you know, when we saw the initial pictures yesterday, there was some thought, oh, it looks like it's on fire as it goes down. But now we're seeing it tried to turn around. It was a small explosion. It's quite something to watch.
The Iranians insist that the plane had a problem. That's why it was turning around, heading back towards the airport. And they insist that given that it came down on its belly, that shows that it wasn't blown out of the sky, that there wasn't a catastrophic impact with a missile. Well, the Canadians want to be able to investigate. They say they've got to have a full, comprehensive and transparent investigation. That is why a number of their inspectors have already travelled to Turkey. They're waiting for approval from the Iranians to go into the country. They have no diplomatic relations with Tehran, so this is all being done through the Italians. But they hope to get people on the ground sooner rather than later, particularly, as I said in the report, we're hearing that at the site some of the wreckage has been bulldozed together, which would make it difficult to carry out an investigation, not impossible, but very difficult. And as our expert said, there's a real possibility that the silent witnesses might be able to talk here, the victims that have been lying on the ground that boarded that plane thinking they were going back to Ukraine. They might be able to give the inspectors some sort of indication exactly what happened.
Inspectors, so Iranian territory, Ukrainian plane, lots of Canadians on board, and the Canadians say they want to be involved as well. I mean, who leads this? How does it all sort of come together?
Well, normally when there's a plane crash, it is the country where the accident happened, so it would be Iran, and they have primacy in this issue. And normally they would invite people from the manufacturers, which in this case would be Boeing. The difficulty, of course, is Boeing is an American company, and the enmity between Iran and the United States, particularly at the moment. Now, we are told that some Boeing inspectors will be given access to the site, but when it comes to analysing the two recorders on board, the Iranians are suggesting there may be some problem with that there may be some damage to that, and also that they will not be handing those boxes over to Boeing. The Ukrainians obviously want to be kept fully informed. They have asked for the Canadians to help form part of an international investigation. They believe that their expertise would be very beneficial. This will play out over the next few days. That's normal after a crash like this. But what is clear is that Canada is on standby to take action. Justin Trudeau was asked, look, if it is proven that this was a missile, what action will you take? He repeatedly said, we have to carry out a full investigation before we start even talking about responses. And what he made clear is, this might have been a mistake. There is the possibility, according to one person I spoke to earlier, that if this was the Russian missile system that they say it was, then it may have been left on. Remember the timing of this. It was just 4 hours after the Iranians fired a volley of missiles towards US bases in Iraq. They were concerned about US retaliation. The missile defense systems were switched on. It's possible they were still in automatic and that this plane came within the area of that missile defense system and was shot out of the sky. But at the moment, that remains speculation. The Canadians and others want answers, and they say the best way to do that is to make this investigation international, full, comprehensive and transparent.
Lots more to come on this one then. Alan Fisher in Washington, thank you.